Greetings, shalom. Just had some words to write down, and I think that's going to be it for this one. What a sick world, what an evil world. A bunch of cowards run it, a bunch of insecure, insane people run it, and people vote for them so that they can lust for their power, lust for their greed, lust for their fame, and lust for their image, to try to make it look like a messenger of light. Goes around doing nothing but evil. It's all it can do. It's all it ever will do until Adam dies and Eve dies. There is nothing good in Adam and Eve. No righteousness at all found within man of self. So I've noticed random comments just being wiped out days later, weeks later. They were standing for a while, which is telling me, I believe, that a human is doing that. Maybe not a robot AI unless it's programmed to wait a few weeks and then delete it after. Unless the robot is programmed to get enough anger inside of itself and say, I don't like what I'm seeing. And then a few weeks or, 1 week, 2 weeks, days later, the robot AI is programmed to get angry enough to go and delete it out of its insecurity. Unless I wouldn't be surprised if that programming does exist, but I don't know. It's likely people too, mixed with AI. What a sick thing. But it creates an image and makes it look like something when no one knows. I think there's some things that trigger it, which just proves the racism that it still is to this day and never changed. But it stood for days, quite a few days, and then all of a sudden it's gone. So it must have triggered somebody out there in the world that got nothing better to do except evil. It's worried about what? What are they worried about? They're worried about a 2-year-old baby. That's how worried and cowardly the enemy is. They're worried about a 2-year-old baby growing up someday to take their kingdoms over. So if someone uses their natural understanding, that's not how it's working. Someone would say it looks stupid. How could somebody be worried about something that only gets 20 views? They're worried about a 2-year-old baby, to go and kill all the 2-year-old babies just to get one 2-year-old baby. That's how worried the devil is for his kingdoms being taken, which is coming up real fast, real quick, real soon. And the more time goes by, the let it be so is what's happening with me. Let it be done. There's nothing to love. There's nothing left in this world. There's no good in it, except those seeking the Creator, and that old man dying, because no one is good, not even one. None are righteous, and all need to die. Has man got a clue? For 6,000 years, people are dying. They can't figure it out. Everyone dies. I wonder why. Maybe because of the truth that they can't face because they're cowards. Yes, indeed, they are cowards. They shake with inside themselves for good, for light, for truth. That's the definition of a coward, not the enemy's definition of a coward, which is someone not fighting back, which is what believers are supposed to be, is cowards to this world and not fight back. Someone punches you. If you don't punch them back, you're a coward, says the devil. And since the whole entire world agrees with all sin, it's very strong. It's a strong sorcery and temptation, because the whole world will be against the truth, and they will be for the one that did evil. In that moment, next to the truth will never be believed next to the evil when the truth is there. Never. It can't. And saying a bunch of empty words is the world's definition of truth that never mean anything. that don't know what they even mean or live by them at any time. Never. They're just empty, vain words to create an image in someone's mind, like the politicians do. They create an image in people's mind. I think it's voting season, and they make you look like you're wicked if you don't. It's your duty. It's your civil duty. I heard that, and I don't even listen to the radio. I turned it on one time in such a long time, and that's what I heard right away. It's incredible. Can't get away from it. Can't seem to get away from it fast enough. Billions of people, billions, will always be there to vote. What are they worried about a few that don't? But that's who the enemy is. It needs to get all of them. It needs to catch all of them. It's not satisfied for catching 7 billion. It needs to get 7, billion and 1. It's never satisfied. The more it increases, the more destruction it's in. The more it increases, the less content it is in its own heart. Give someone $1 million, watch them destroy themselves. Watch it happen every single time without any failure ever at any time. But if that person's able to create an image for a little while that they're doing good, 7-something billion people will believe that image that that person's doing good because they saw a picture online or something of people smiling. It's incredible. Nobody that's in sin is doing any kind of good. They don't do good works, but they're not doing good either. Never. And if the righteous are scarcely saved, where are the ungodly, like we read, going to appear? Where will they be? If it's difficult for a believer and scarcely happens. What is this saying? Are they going to escape the judgment? They're not escaping the judgment. They're not escaping right now, and they won't to come. And the Father made that a sure thing, but someone sticking their head in the sand saying, nope, 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 we'll let them do it. They have to convince themselves of their own lie. That's how much people hate the truth. They have to convince themselves and lie to themselves until they believe their own lie. And if someone wants to do that, they will believe their own lie. The Father will send them a strong delusion so that they believe the lie, so that they can be judged / condemned, because an unbeliever's already condemned. No one has to do anything. Everyone's already condemned that doesn't believe, that people are going around condemning anyways with their heart, while doing the exact same sins themselves with no change at all. Condemning heart is a condemning work. It's to be discerned spiritually, and there's nothing in the courtroom on earth that's going to prove it or disprove it, because the blind can't see. There's no proof that someone's wicked in this world. You have to be caught doing some kind of literal murder or literal adultery, and that creates a bad image to the devil. And now this is the world's definition of evil, a bad image. That's it. It's that shallow and empty, and it just uses a blind cover and a cloak to hide under, like Harry Potter, waving the wand, casting spells with its heart and curses that are very real. While they masquerade as messengers of light, they want people destroyed secretly in their heart. But what do they look like to people? They look like they care for them, like they want to help people, while they're literally cursing people secretly. And then strange things happen to people from some of these witches and witch doctors that cast a bunch of spells from their heart with their spirit that go out and work the lying wonders of Satan with power, with a wicked, cowardly power that even that's allowed and given to them. It's no power at all, because they have no power to do good. They can only do evil, which takes zero power. How to be evil? Here's how to be evil and do evil. Be yourself, follow your heart, trust in yourself, do what your mind says and what your instincts tell you. Now you will do evil. You will do perfect evil, and so will I, if that's what's followed, which is the world's instruction. Even letting some sick things stand, like the Georgia Guidestones, that literally is a command to destroy billions of people as a commandment, standing in pride erected on a giant stone that nobody is wanting to destroy. Not even the enemy is destroying it. Not even rebels that are doing evil want to touch that thing. Why? What kind of blood must have been spilled over that for it to stand for that long without being touched? Makes me wonder sometimes what the secret things must have been done already for it to stand in this world like that. It's incredible, shocking. But yes, the believer can't be going and doing that kind of thing, but it's just to bring something out. How come nobody has? It's a wicked world. Wouldn't somebody want to destroy that and make themselves look righteous at least? We destroyed the Georgia Guidestones and then go on the news and sell their fame and make themselves, nobody's even doing that. Nobody's doing that, because that's happening all the time, so that someone can look righteous. And it's not happening. It's standing, and it looks like it's going to stand until the Creator himself destroys it. But it won't stand that much longer. The enemy's intention is to destroy billions, even literally. A bloodbath. That's all it's coming to. That's all that they're able to speak of. Excited for it, so it seems. But nobody's going to like it when it comes. They're not going to be so excited when it's their own life at stake. No, they won't. No, that won't be so exciting. And at that point, someone will do anything that they can to survive. Anything and everything to survive. But that's not what Messiah did. For those that claim to believe, is that what Messiah did? No, it's not. They don't want to hear it. He didn't resist it even a little bit. No resistance at all. If it wasn't time, he got away because it was part of the Father's will. But when it was time to be captured, he didn't resist it or try to fight. His disciples didn't fight because he said if they were of this world, then they would fight, and they would at least put up a fight and wouldn't allow Messiah to be captured. The intent of the heart would be to fight and not allow it. The result doesn't matter. It's the intent of the heart that matters. But that's not the kingdom of heaven is not of this world. Messiah is not of this world. This world's coming to nothing. And all the kings are coming to nothing. And everything they've done will be a legacy of shame. All the works will have been proven to be evil with corrupt intentions for every single detail and thing that they've ever done. Even the good that looked good will have been proven to be so that they look good, so that they make themselves look good by giving to charities, to make their image shine, only using the poor as a doormat, as I've been given to say, to wipe their mud and sin on the doormat of the poor, to rise themselves up. That's what's going to be proven, that even the things that looked good were evil. Every detail, every work is going to be exposed. Looking forward to the day at times stronger than others. Although needing more time, though, at least a little bit more time to overcome this sick world and self. That saying goes out and it means nothing, that someone is their own worst enemy. They don't believe it. If someone believed that, then they would be dying. Then they would believe and be dying to that old man if they really believe that they are their own worst enemy and they would want it to die. They would give up their life because they know that they are their own worst enemy, but they don't believe that. It's just a saying that gives people goosebumps. That's it. Just something that makes you look righteous in that moment before men, before people, to be seen as a shining light. What if that light is darkness? Messiah said. How great is that darkness if that light that's projected is darkness and no light at all, but just a masquerade? But nobody wants to remember that. That's why they have to be entertained every minute, every day by something, some kind of evil to bury head in sand spiritually and want to believe a lie that there is no creator, there's no judgment now, there's no judgment to come. Says the blind. His judgments are clear to see for those that can see, knowing it's true, constantly watching his judgments all the time. And people have to sell and make it look like that there is no judgment. They have to hide that to make the creator liar, because they are already enmity against him. Everything they do is against him. Every work from the heart is to make the Father look like a liar and them true. That's why we read, let man be a liar, let every man be a liar and Elohim true. But it's backwards with God, man. Let the Creator be a liar and every man true. That's what's in its heart. Why does it want to be a king so badly? An evil king to serve its own self. That's all it does. That's what kings do. They serve themselves and use the people to serve themselves. What do they sell? That they serve others. It's an abomination to the carnal man. How many times does the enemy have to show it through their entertainment what actually happens constantly, of which you can catch them in the real world doing it for anyone that has eyes to see? Nobody even would want to see or hear what goes on in the secret room when they think nobody is listening and all the peoples and the crowds aren't listening. Maybe those people would think twice about voting for them if they knew what their heart actually believed about all the people and how it's using them as a bunch of scum to raise itself up, because it knows it needs to have people on its side to be a king in this world. How else will someone be crowned? Unless there's many peoples that are worshiping that person's image to get them there. That's how the world works. Does it work any other way? I don't see that it works any other way. That's what it does. All kinds of nasty things being said. They don't care about anyone. You can't love money. You can't serve two masters. And someone that serves money and themselves doesn't know the Creator and therefore hates people. Period. It's already over. As soon as they get out in front of the crowd, their morphing begins, their masquerade begins. Stiffen up like a robot Satan, masquerade as smiling, loving the crowd, loving the people, saying things to work them up on purpose with no care or love in sight. But then the people buy it. They worship the man's image and it looks like love. It's not love. It just looks like it to this world. It's what people call love is sin. They're watching people worship people. They're watching worship of man, which is wicked, which is sin. The whole world calls it good. The whole world calls it love. That's what this world is. It calls good evil and evil good. Nobody ever believed it. Few are believing it, and it's not because they did something good. Found that out. Finding that out constantly. No, not even believers. There's nothing good. Nothing good about Adam. No partiality. A believer has to die. Old man has to die, and Messiah grow in a believer. And the old man dying, I mean, who and what they are, everything about them and who and what they are has to vanish like smoke, burned up like chaff in the wind. It's got to happen with his people first. Well, this is a warning to all the wicked out there. It's coming for you. Your day is coming. And it's as sure as the sun rising and setting tomorrow and the next day. And every single work that they think that they're hiding now, it's going to be revealed, because that's who the Creator is. He doesn't allow that kind of evil hiding and monstrous pride to stand. It won't stand. So either be exposed now or to come. even though the Creator sees all things now and no one's truly hiding now, but the unbeliever thinks they're hiding. That's the problem. They're not hiding, but they think they are. But the day is coming when they won't be able to think they are anymore. That's what I mean. They won't be able to think they're hiding anymore because they'll be full-blown exposed, just like Adam and Eve, that they're sinners, naked. That's everyone in the beginning. The end is declared from the beginning, and the end is the beginning, and the beginning is the end. So it's all been declared from the beginning. That the creation is void, darkness, chaos, lawless in the heart. The real things, not an image. Nothing about an image stands with the Creator. That's all fake. Lawless in his word means speaking about real lawlessness unless otherwise stated, unless it's talking about someone's delusion. And belief means real belief in his word and not fake belief and an image of belief. And faith means faith, and it doesn't mean an image of faith, which is not faith. It's just an image of it. This is who the enemy is. It masquerades everything, creates an image of the true that looks like the true, and it isn't. That's the image of the beast. And the buying and selling is happening every single day since Adam and Eve, since sin came in the world, like we read. Because that old serpent, that beast, in Genesis, he's called the beast, the craftiest beast, is who the enemy is, the image of the beast that reverses everything and mixes up everything. Someday that's going to end. It's gonna literally come to an end. It won't be allowed to stand anymore. Not that it ever did stand spiritually. It's not standing already, but people think it stands. The day is coming when they won't be able to think it stands. So there's always this rightly dividing between the delusion and the truth. Delusion is what someone believes and thinks is real and true, and it isn't. Then that's one thing over there, and then the truth is the other thing over here. You have to divide between the two constantly because nobody's doing it. Nobody cares. That's the best they can do, is not care. Well, if they could see the things the Creator is showing his people, they would care. But the blinding is real. The darkness is real. And it's tiring to see. Not supposed to hope in the world, not supposed to hope in people, kings, leaders. Maybe this time they'll do this for us. All of that's nothing. All of that is going to be more than a disappointment every time. Person's not good, that people are saying they're good, they're not righteous, they got all kinds of sins they're hiding, just like the next guy. It's all the same. And Pilate was allowed to be in position by the Creator. It's not his own power. Pilate, Pharaoh, Herods of the world, you've been given your authority, the worldly authority, which is a wicked control spirit. Nevertheless, even that authority has been given for you to be allowed to have it. Otherwise, Pilate wouldn't be able to. He would not have it. But nobody believes Messiah's words in this world. They don't believe it at all. It's an abomination to them. What would happen in real life if you told a figure like Pilate today to his face that you have no authority or power at all unless it's given to you from above, like Messiah did do? I wonder what would happen. First of all, nobody would say that even if they thought maybe that's true. Without the Creator's spirit and power, they would be too much of a coward to say the truth. But if someone was able to do it, the devil's going to rage for it. they can't love you for it. They have to hate that truth because it's true. It's utter foolishness. It's sitting there in pride thinking it's God Almighty with power, and that even that has been given to them by the Creator to be allowed to have. And those that it's not determined to be given, they can't have it no matter how much they want it. What does someone do when that tried but failed because it wasn't allowed and given to them? What will they do? They will sell that they didn't want it so that it doesn't look like the truth stands, that they could not do it, could not because it wasn't given. They'll sell something to hide the truth. They'll sell something like that they gave up because they pursue something else. They didn't want it. I could have had it if I wanted to, but I didn't want it. That's what they'll sell, something like that. But secretly, they actually admitted defeat, and then they have to sell a lie and not the truth, that they weren't able to, they weren't allowed. The rich man can't become poor, and the poor man can't become rich if that's what's determined. It works both ways. So then the rich that is given so much by the Creator carnally, allowed to have, he condemns the poor because he's offended at what he sees, which means he put all heavy burden and expectation on that person and then condemn them with the heart. Condemnation is a wicked, murderous heart that hates humanity. That's what condemnation is, coming from the heart. It condemns, meaning it murders the poor person and condemns them as the trash and filth that they believe they are. Because it didn't make all the choices it did. It didn't do what God-man, did. And then it'll say you're lazy and this and that, and it'll give all the things that people will believe because it sounds real and looks like it could be true. That's what the devil does, and the sons of the devil, selling images that look enticing and look true to the natural mind, to the flesh, like Adam and Eve. It looks good to them to sin, to break the Creator's command. It literally looks good to their mind and heart to follow after and break the command. That work is wicked, and it sees no difference between good and evil at all. And that's why they ate from that tree. And that fruit represents the works that it has no discernment of for good or evil. And it seemed good for food. It looked good. It seemed good for food and to make one wise. It really is good. Evil is good to man's heart first. That's everyone first, even every believer. It really looked good. It is good to people, and then they wonder why they're in destruction. So then they need to fill up with more of it. Father just gives them over to fill up with more of it. Fill up some more. Messiah told the people, fill up with your father's guilt. Fill up yourselves. Go ahead, do it. Blind fools won't listen to him. He said, fill up with your father's guilt. They even wanted to take on all that sin. He said, put the sin on us. As long as they do their one thing, which is kill Messiah in that moment. Who cares about this heavy thing? Just bring it on us. We don't care. Put all the bloodshed of all the saints, everyone, onto us right now. Who cares? Next, just kill Messiah already. Yeah. Just already do that already. That's who the people are. Father's not partial, and he showed that with Jerusalem. He destroyed Jerusalem. That's why it got wiped out like a ball in 70 AD. If it was so righteous, why did it get destroyed? Father protects his people, and if it was a righteous nation, it wouldn't be destroyed. So why did it get destroyed? Because it wasn't a righteous nation at all. Even the ones from it that literally killed and wanted Messiah dead, but the same work is being done today. If someone does evil to the heart, to the least of somebody, like Messiah says, to the least of these little ones, you've done it to me. And if you've done good, you've also done that good to me, both good or evil. It's like doing it right. It's like doing it to Messiah himself. It's murdering Messiah himself to murder someone that's of him. Even someone that doesn't believe, because that is, the Father's not partial in his judgment, plus they are part of the creation. It doesn't matter that they don't believe. To murder the enemy is to murder self, to murder Messiah, to murder the Creator and self. Pretty foolish. To destroy someone is to destroy self. So then when people do evil, if we can remember it, it's something to ask for, to remember, is if we're thinking about doing some kind of evil, just flip it back. Let's say I want to do some kind of evil, then I need to remember also this thing. I want to destroy myself. I really want to destroy myself. And the greater the evil someone wants to do, the greater it is back on you. So if someone wants to kill someone for real, I want to really kill myself for real. That's what someone should remember. That's how his judgment works. See how hard it is to remember it. All of a sudden, everyone has spiritual disease and has a memory problem with his things. It's like a spiritual disease. Forget. You just remember a little bit, and maybe a little more next time until someone's perfected. But there's no chance of remembering or even believing that in unbelief. So then, will the person believe they want to destroy themselves? No, that's an abomination to them. He just sees a lust for revenge and to go and destroy someone. He sees nothing yet. But what is the person doing in reality? Destroying themselves. And if someone puts a bullet in someone's head, they just did that to themselves. The moment they did it, their life's done, it's over. Their blood's required. And even if they stay alive literally for a while, there's nothing left inside them. They're blacker than black, because that's such a strong judgment for such a strong sin. Once a murderer, always a murderer. Over. No one can mock the Creator. Strong judgment's required now for taking someone's literal life. We're not supposed to take someone's life, period, spiritually, with the heart. Not supposed to shed blood with the heart. That's called murder in heaven. That's spiritual murder. Out of the heart, Messiah taught all these sins come. Nobody pays attention. That does establish a truth for those that claim to believe. Where is the teaching? It's everywhere, but here it is in very strong, simple words. Out of the heart, murder, theft, wickedness, wrath, envy, whatever we read. Messiah named quite a few things. Stealing, killing, destroying, murder, adultery, covetousness, pride, wickedness, all of it comes from the heart. So then every sin can be done with the heart, and it counts for that sin. No physical act has to be done for someone to be in sin continually. How do you prove love of money in the court, on the earthly court, in the courtroom? Where would you draw the definitions and the lines? A dollar amount, it becomes foolish because it's not about that outward thing. Can't be done. Can't be done right. Can't be done properly. No, so then the Creator is the judge of that. It's seen in the heart, love of money. Not to be seen on the outside. That's not the understanding. It's not the definition of it. It's not the meaning of it. No one can hide it. So because of this is true, what can people always do? I don't love money. That's what they'll do because they think nobody can see it. They think they're wise when they do that because they think, nobody can see me. So I'll just say I didn't do it. Plus, I can't acknowledge my sins anyways. And I think I'm wise through nobody being able to see me. So I'll just say I didn't do it. I don't love money. I didn't do it. Could get frustrating. But we read to let the Creator judge those outside. They're already destroyed for loving money. It'll only get worse and worse. They're being judged. There's no life in them. It's part of the judgment. And anything could happen to someone any minute of any day. There's no prospect for any unbeliever. One day they're here, one day they're gone, and had no clue it was coming. There's no prospect for even life. But how do some of the richest, most powerful, wicked people in the world, how do they literally live with all the evil they do? It's pretty incredible. I don't know, but they are highly, highly destroyed. That's why they want to highly, highly destroy billions of people, because they've gone up to a level that's hard to comprehend, fallen down a pit so deep that even the average wicked person would marvel and wonder at some of these people that have fallen way deep, deep down further than the average person. These are the people and leaders of this world. It's who they are. They found a way to legally kill, steal, and destroy because they just wrote their own laws and have loopholes. And when you have money, you could just pay off people and bribe them constantly. It's how the devil's machine works. Bribes, gifts. Someone does something, they don't even ask. They just do it and then dump you the money. Yep, that shut that person up real good. He's not supposed to take it. Not supposed to take the money. Don't take the bribe. Will you take it? Yes, the person takes it. Well, you just ate sin. It's coming back on you. You're connected to it, even though you say you're not, like everyone does. I don't have anything to do with that. I'm not connected. Yes, they are. Everyone is. Doesn't have to be directly connected in some way someone makes up in their mind because they don't know how sin works, how truth works. They'll just say they're not connected and have nothing to do with it and think that the laws of the world created by this world justify their evil. Just like killing someone because you're in the military justifies murder. No, it doesn't. To this world, yes, it does. To this world, it does. If someone wants truth, no, it doesn't. What does it mean? It means that person will be destroyed for ending somebody's life. And those stupid rules won't fix their heart, won't fix the spirit of man for taking someone's life. And they're bound to do it again, just like they say and show. Once you do it once, it's a lot easier to do it the second time. And the devil knows something about that. So that's how gangs work. They force you to do something. Now they know that you're likely going to do the evil they want you to do easier. Why? Because the Creator's judgment is true. Because he hands people over to their sin. Whatever power carnally they had for not killing someone, that was already given by the Creator. That was already a gift. All he has to do now is take it away and someone becomes a beast. Literally. It's already given. He's restraining all kinds of untold evil. And that doesn't mean evil isn't happening. It's just that it would be 10 trillion times worse. I'm convinced of it until everyone kills themselves. If it was just unleashed, everyone would start killing themselves or killing other people, everyone. So when I see unleash the beast, it's a little frightening what the enemy wants to always do, that the Father's restraining. holding back every individual human being unless he unleashes, unless he lets the leash go for a judgment and someone goes and does what their heart already has done all its life, but it goes and finishes it literally. That's the restraint. You could take it away in a moment's notice when someone's in deep trouble. And then they, oops, I just committed a real wicked sin, and now you have to justify it. Every single one. Someone commits literal adultery, they have to justify it. They also have to go and do more, because now they need to, in their mind, prove that what they did is not sin. And if they could do it even more, in their mind, they think it's not sin because they're able to do it more. Pretty stupid, pretty frightening. The delusion someone goes down, the judgment strong for sin. People act and put on an image that it's just like a party time and fun. They don't see the destruction in people because they have no light in them. They don't know what death is. They don't know what destruction is. No one can commit those sins and have life. They're destroyed. There's nothing left. They're getting worse, and they want to take someone down with you. They want to spiritually destroy you at the very least. What are people celebrating? Death? Faithlessness? Zero hope? Is that why they party? Celebrating death? Is that the real reason they're doing things that they'll never admit? They're partying because they're in death? Is that why? Because I don't see any justifiable righteous cause in heaven to go out and party like that all the time. So what's the real reason? Because they're in death. Because they're celebrating death. And they made a covenant with death. They like death. They want more death, and they want other people to join their death. Death, 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 death. They sing about death. Even Christianity's gospel is everlasting death and torture and death. What a crazy, sick, evil world. Even the good news is death. For what the world sells, what religion sells, is death. With great hopelessness. Incredible. For most people, for the vast majority of people, that's the good news for them. I got good news for you. Before you were born, you deserved to be burning in fire forever. You deserve that before you were born, to literally be tortured forever. But now there's a way out. That's the good news. That's their good news. It's funny because the picture is right. They are in a Gehenna. They're in the destruction for sin, and there is a way to come out of it right now. Nothing to do with being tortured forever at all, but that's their picture. The picture is their reality because they worship images. So then when they think scripture means something, whatever image that comes to their mind is what they believe is the truth, the image. So I have an image of fire and people burning, that's their truth. They literally believe that's the truth, that's the meaning, the image. Well, they're going to have a problem with all the parables because a parable is the exact opposite. It never means the outward image by itself. All his word is like that. The understanding has to be given. Spiritual understanding is in spirit, not carnality, images and outward appearances and things. How does someone pull someone out of the fire according to the doctrine of Christianity? Hell. How do you do what we read, what they can read, and maybe perhaps pull someone out of the fire with fear? How do you do that? So they're going to be partial with their own doctrine, aren't they? Now they're going to say all of a sudden it doesn't mean hell just because they would look bad. That's why wherever they look bad, they'll just change like the wind. Has anybody in Christianity pulled someone out of the fire like they can read to do, perhaps with fear, pull some out of the fire. What? Pull someone out of being tortured forever in literal fire? How do you do that? How do you obey those words? How do you do that? Who's done that in there? What are they going to say? That the fire isn't literal for that verse? So how do they know when it's literal and when it's not? They don't. It just needed to do something, say something to make itself look right and good in that moment. And then when that goes away, they go back to their day and don't care at all, never think about it again. Because there's no love for truth at all. I've watched racism, watched it in real life. As soon as there's a little pressure on someone, all of a sudden the beast comes out for what they already always believed in their heart. All of a sudden that N-word's coming out by the guy that sold an image that he's not a racist. Watched it happen in real life from someone that you would never think would be that. Well, yes, they are. They're secretly that constantly. And same for the other side. It's just a damnable image. Society is doing something good, and we're doing something good for humanity across the whole world and earth. We're overcoming racism. We're overcoming abortion or whatever they're selling at the moment. We just have to give the people something and just get it over with real quick, and then be like, okay, I got my power, I got my power, I got my greed, I got my power, got my money. Now I'm going to be the creator and be a builder. See this? Look at this table full of little mini constructions of plans I have for my city, because I'm God, I'm a builder. I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm going to rape whoever I want, commit adultery with whoever I want, kill, steal whoever I want from, do whatever I want my way. That's who they all are. We show that in the movies too. Every one of them. Who's the good guy in Hollywood? The guy that kills and murders the bad guy. That's the good guy. The guy that murders the murderer. Makes me shiver. That's the good guy. In this world, there's no difference. They're both murderers. Literally. Literal murderers. Spilling blood. Claiming what? That they saved life. Why? Because they got caught in a trap. In the Creator's trap and judgment. They have to believe the lie that they're saving someone. I never had to do that. I don't have to go and save someone like that. I wonder why. They wouldn't be in that trap if they weren't doing all that evil. Then they get trapped and they have to believe a delusion, and they have to do evil to supposedly do a good. How contradicting and evil is that? That's already a bad sign. If you have to do evil to do good, that's a delusion. You're looking at a delusion. You're looking at someone's literal delusion and rebellion. You're looking at someone filled up with the spirit of the devil and delusion that has to do evil to do good. There's no such thing in reality. No one can do evil to do good. It doesn't exist. It's all evil. There's no good in it. They did evil to do more evil and saved no one. Someone that sees that kind of evil in real life, that's destroying them. That's not doing good to them. Will they believe it? No. They'll believe the lie. But what it's actually happening in their heart, it's destroying them. They're very offended for seeing that kind of evil. What's someone supposed to do? What's the world supposed to do when it hears the gospel of death? What do people expect it to do? It's going to mock religion, mocks it every day, all the time, everywhere. What's an example of mocking religion? Someone's like praying and saying, Jesus, Jesus, and then they just get shot to death. That's going to offend someone. That's what it's designed to do. Because what is it showing? No creator, no power, no protection, no faith. Someone just got blown off with no warning either. That's a mockery. The world mocks religion because it hates it out of evil, and religion hates the beast out of an evil heart, and it condemns each other both ways. But the harlot condemns everyone. Above all things, it condemns because it claims it's the light. Condemns the condemned to a judgment that they say the Creator is sending them to. And a strong condemnation to burn forever with no mercy. Forever. People mock themselves. I've seen it more and more. They mock themselves. Only they're allowed to make fun of themselves and mock themselves. As soon as someone agrees with them, then they get angry and rage. But they just did that to themselves. But they could do that to themselves because it's them. Because it's them. If someone else does it, it's over. Only I can smash my sandwich, kind of thing. Only I can speak evil about myself. As soon as someone else agrees with me, now I'm going to kill you. How stupid is that? How evil is that? So that means someone's lying when they say that when it seems like they're acknowledging they're no good. That means they're lying. They don't really believe it. That's what it means. When someone else says, like, yeah, you are, and then someone rages. Why are you raging for what you just acknowledged? You must not believe it. It must be in a delusion. You don't believe your own words. That's what it's proving. You're just saying it for some different reason, to look good, to escape a situation, to ignore something, to get past it. Whatever the intention is, it's not because it believes those words and knows what it means. No. Because the works just proved someone didn't believe it. Because someone else said the identical words and then someone rages. It proves they don't believe the words they said about themselves. It takes a while to be able to. There's no hope in unbelief. No change. No wonder we read, seek the kingdom, not the world. If we're seeking the world, then it's like all I see is then we're seeking a delusion, a lie, and evil. It has to be cut off completely. All of it. Can't be seeking it in the heart. How disappointing. Well, the narrow way is not for the many. The kingdom is not fit for the many. Anyone that turns back their plow is not fit for the kingdom. Besides, that's just true. It's just true. And the enemy sowing a bunch of weeds, a bunch of corrupt seeds. Why would someone want to do that? Sowing seeds of the devil, sowing weeds and corruption and increasing it. So what are they increasing? Wickedness. That means they have no talents. Because the Messiah, speaking about increasing the talents, is all out of good. They have no understanding for that and don't do any of that. They have their own definition of increasing the talents, which is increasing your literal bank account and increasing weeds and corruption, which has nothing to do with the truth. The scary thing is every one of these big time false prophets literally believe all their own lies. The amount of shame they fall into is hard to comprehend. They don't see it, don't want to see it. They believe all their own lies. Every step of the way, they keep getting built up, or should I say built down, if that were possible. Just get worse and worse, blinder and blind. It might be somehow not expect anything else, because you can't do anything else. You can't. So to expect it is evil. To do that with the heart, to expect is to condemn. When that fails over and over and over and over again. The people set that up. It's like they want it to happen. They set up situations where they know their whatever their expectation won't be met. Set it up and then point the finger when it's not met. And if it is met, looks like it's met, what do people do? They just raise the bar. They raise the expectation on someone so that they can still condemn them and crap on them, sitting from their throne room, the toilet. When a lot of violent evil is being done, someone should just expect only violence, like maybe going to some boxing thing or whatever with the crowd and people beating each other. It's a pretty big sin. So the people there are all filled up with wrath, screaming for one side or the other. Someone's going down the hall, walking away maybe because they quit. They're a loser. They quit. They didn't get knocked out. They quit before the time, and they're getting thrown stuff. People are throwing stuff on their face. Well, I mean, that person should expect that, but the people throwing it are doing evil. It's evil both ways. Because why? It violated their image. Violated their image. Now I'm going to have to, if I could, I'd stab you to death over a stupid boxing match. That's what's in their heart. If they only could do it and get away with it, they like to knife someone over quitting, over saying, I'm done, I quit. Because now that's a loser image, especially if somebody was cheering for that person. That makes their image look rotten, like a loser. So now they have to do everything they can to get that image off of them and make it look like they have nothing to do with that and separate themselves from that rotten, wicked loser image. Like Messiah, a rotten, wicked loser image. That's what everyone knows of him in their delusional mind that hate him. and kill him, and killed him. King of the Jews, a crown on someone that's getting beat and whipped. That's a loser image. We have to make it look like we have nothing to do with that. So the people rage like the angry devils they are in wrath, in death. Oh, he got what's coming. He's got what his penalty. He's got blah, 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 whatever they said. That they do to this day, no different. That's what people will do to you. And you know they're doing it. Messiah knows they're doing it. Has to do no evil back. Why do people wonder why bad things happen and why they're in death and destruction? Why do people wonder that? Here it is, because they're in sin, because they're doing evil every day. There it is. Report it to all the four corners of the earth. No, nobody believes those words, knows what they mean, and believes them in their heart, and believes that about themselves. Believe it, hate it. It's got to be something else besides the truth. And so they believe something else besides the truth. As if the Father's just making all these things come on someone because they're in not doing a bunch of sin, because they're doing actual good. They're in death and destruction and have no life because they're doing good. As if the Father's a wicked judge that can't see the difference between good and evil, his works and man's works. Someone that listens to him obeys, and someone that doesn't. He has no discernment. Bunch of righteous people, even though there is no one righteous of themselves. Father's not sending a bunch of spiritual death and diseases for a judgment because of zero sin going on, but because of a bunch of sin going on. No repentance inside. The world has its way. It's got its phrases and its words. Luck of the draw, bad luck. Happens to all. Shit happens to all of us. Some people die. Some people go to prison. Blah, blah, blah. That's its scapegoat. That's its excuse for its own sin. It has to believe that over the truth. Because what is that reality? Man getting judged by the Creator and man not able to do anything about it makes him furious because he is a God in his own heart. He's got a lot of pride that needs to be destroyed. Nobody judges me. Nobody sends judgment on me for sin, authority over me. It's an abomination to Adam to have authority over him. Nobody's authority over me. Nobody tells me what to do. Just like the Pharisees. We're not slaves to anyone and never were at any time. What kind of delusion is that? They're a slave to sin, like Messiah said. Whatever someone is a slave to, that is their master. He was talking about sin that they didn't understand. That through belief, people could now be freed from that belief, come out of slavery, but they were only thinking, worldly affairs, carnality, coming out of the power of the Romans, as if that's the truth. They were under the power of the Romans and enslaved to their sin. They were in full-blown slavery. What do they say? We've never been a slave to anyone at any time. We're Abraham's children, as if that means something, as if that has some kind of power with it, because we're a certain blood. We're now superior to all mankind. Father hates that. It's wicked. Hates racism. Monstrous. And there's no reality to someone being better than someone else. It literally doesn't exist. Not even It's not even real at all. Nobody's better than anyone. It's a delusion that man has created pictures, things to do that make you and determine your own self better than someone if you do these things. All of that is nothing, proves nothing. Proves that this person's doing evil. That's what it proves. It doesn't prove at all that someone's better. Someone's hair color is what? Better. Something about their flesh is better than everyone else's. Because they're a leader with some kind of power, that means they're a better person. It means they're more wicked. How about that? It means they're even more evil and doing more evil if they've risen in this world. But the world calls that better, and the person up there believes he's better than everyone else because his pride is increasing. So is his delusion. Hates humanity more every single day and wants to do things to destroy it, control it. Pretty frightening thing when the whole world is screaming peace. Real frightening when the whole world starts to scream peace, peace, peace is coming. Contradiction as always, while proclaiming doom everywhere through the games, movies, entertainment, through the news, declaring the destruction to come. It's also declaring that while it's trying to sell peace. How stupid is it? Pick one. You can't do both. Which one is it? Destruction or peace? Or is your definition of peace destruction? When they say peace, they mean destruction. So that's what it is. I'm not talking about real peace. It gets so blind it can't even do the simplest things, even carnally, earthly. That's how bad it gets before nations are destroyed. The more wrath someone's filled up with, the dumber and blinder they are. They can't even do the simplest things anymore. Which is evident that this is already happening. Simplest things can't even be done. Merchandise is coming to an end. Just break one branch off of it and it breaks everything because it's all based on speed and pumping out as much as possible. One bad thing happens somewhere in the line, cause world chaos right away. When that happens, then it goes out like a wave. Boom, 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 because when it happens, people fear. When they fear, they do even more sin because we're commanded not to fear. So when someone fears, they start doing more evil. When they do more evil, then they have to do more evil. When someone punches someone, another person comes in to punch someone. Someone shoots someone down, a bunch of people start killing each other, and it will go out like a wave and wipe out all of humanity. That's how stupid mankind is. Over and over and over again for 6,000 years, including self. Yes, self is stupid. Stupid. No partiality. Self is stupid too. Because if self doesn't trust in the creator for everything, self will do all these evil things. Maybe I'll read something. I don't know. Open it up somewhere. And whatever it comes to. Be it. Acts 22. Brethren and fathers, hear my defense before you now. And when they heard that he spoke to them in the Hebrew language, they kept all the more silent. Then he said, I am indeed a Jew born in Tarsus in Cilicia, but brought up in this city at the feet of, however that's pronounced, taught according to the strictness of our father's law, and was zealous towards Elohim as you are all today. I persecuted this way to the death, binding and delivering into prisons both men and women. See how stupid, evil, stupid. But no believer is able to say they didn't do a bunch of evil before they believed. Delivering into prisons both men and women, as also the high priest bears me witness, and all the council of the elders, from whom I also received letters to the brethren, and went to Damascus to bring in chains, even those who were there to Jerusalem to be punished. See, if someone's doing some kind of sin, they're getting punished from above, so they have to transfer that punishment over onto someone. If we don't repent, that's what's going to happen. It'll go forth as an evil work to somebody, something. Maybe it's our wall, punch a hole in the wall because the favorite team lost or something. It can get pretty dumb. Let's see, what else is this about? Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? So I said, who are you, master? And he said to me, I am Yehoshua of Nazareth, whom you are persecuting. Those who were with me indeed saw the light and were afraid. Light and afraid of the truth, the light, cowardly afraid. But they did not hear the voice of him who spoke to me. So I said, what shall I do, master? And the master said to me, arise and go into Damascus, and there you will be told the things which are appointed for you to do. There goes that authority again. Appointed for you to do. Well, it's either his way, appointed, or our own way, which is going to be a bunch of death, confusion, and evil continually. This is the war that happened when we read in Acts of believers being attacked, accused of lawbreakers, while before Saul believed is going out and doing literal evil to people, and a bunch of people with him. Why? They don't believe the reasons why until that light comes. Then they see. Very next verses. Someone is telling him, receive your sight, because he went blind. And at the same hour I looked up at him. Then he said, the Elohim of our fathers has chosen you, that you should know his will, and see the just one, and hear the voice of his mouth. For you will be his witness to all men of what you have seen and heard. Why are you waiting? Arise and be baptized and wash your sins away, calling on the name of the Master. Even told, make haste and get out of Jerusalem quickly, for they will not receive your testimony concerning me. It's not making much sense for someone to obey, is it? Go do this, but then they won't believe you. It's because nothing works like the selfishness thinks it needs to work. It doesn't work that way. and literally needs to do the unthinkable, the thing that doesn't make sense ever carnally to the natural mind, the thing that's enmity already. And then if they want to take you in and beat you, you allow it to happen, which doesn't make sense to the natural mind. It wants to fight back. You don't just sit there and get beat. That's like dying. That's giving up. You got to stand strong, brother, and get back up. You're a survivor. No, 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 no. No, Judas. No, whoever it is out there. I'm banishing, going away. I'm dying. If you don't die with me, you won't see me anymore. And then someone's very disappointed. They don't want the old man to die. They're very confused when they see someone dying in Messiah, changing, dying, which is to live while dying, gives us life for it. Something is not right anymore because you're not fighting anymore. Not that it's perfected, but this thing gets perfected. Not fighting and trying to stay alive, because that is the sin. That's just the beast, to do evil, stay alive, survive. But then I see a lot of things, it depends on the time. So if the timing's not right, it could be a sin just because it's not the right time. So if someone comes in and says Messiah needs to be captured 3 years before the time and says, oh, you wicked man, you ran away. See how they could use that against a believer and say that they're in sin when it's actually part of the Father's will not to be captured, not to be such and such happening because it's not the time yet, like we did read. I mean, like we do read throughout the gospel accounts every now and then reading because it's not the time or something like that. So if the timing's not right, how does someone know? How does someone know for any random individual? They just know everything. They know what the Creator is doing with them in that moment and have that much powerful discernment to see all those things immediately. Well, people act like they do because they're not actually seeking to understand. They're just making a quick, hasty judgment. When that happens, we'll be ending up doing some kind of evil. So yes, forgive the robot Satans, forgive the robot whatever, AI doing things that you don't like to see, people doing what you don't like to see. Pretty hard to do. Impossible. That's why we read impossible with man, but nothing's impossible with the Creator. Supposed to forgive. Somehow finding a perfect balance between forgiveness and not turning away from the truth and lying. And then if something needs to be said, it's said, and not burying it, because that would be lying to your neighbor. That would be suppressing truth and supporting a lie if it's the right time to say something and we don't. But sometimes nothing should be said, or a lot of times maybe nothing should be said. While somehow forgiving someone all at the same time without breaking anything. It literally is impossible. A way has to be made. And it's like a little by little, not too much ever at once. A little bit of forgiveness to start with in the beginning, and a little more with the goal, hopefully. The truth is to be as Messiah and perfected and do as he did, complete. And then if you do the right thing, then the blessing comes anyways for doing the right thing. But the temptation is always there to do the wrong thing. Some things are easy to just look past and step on. It just depends for somebody. Depends on what it is and the time. For one person, maybe it's easy to step on, and for another, it's not quite as easy yet to step on it. To step on the serpent's head, crush that evil work. Psalm 24. May he grant you according to your heart's desire. As long as that's a good desire, that's good. And fulfill all your purpose. We will rejoice in your salvation. And in the name of our Elohim, we will set up our banners. May Jehovah fulfill all your petitions. Now I know that Jehovah saves his anointed. He will answer him from his holy heaven with the saving strength of his right hand. May the King answer us. May the King answer us when we call. I think I'm going to end there. Seems like a long way to go. And then we're not supposed to doubt. Say the Creator can't do something. Does he know what he's doing? So then there's feels like a long way to go, and yet can't act and say and doubt and say he doesn't know what. That leaves you with an impossible way always to split it right down the middle somehow and keep both things. Don't do this, don't do that. It's not supposed to say it's impossible for him to do, but it feels like it's a lot of the times. Can't go by feelings. Feelings is like moving someone with the intent to move someone's feelings and then getting them to cry or something, like on purpose to specifically do that. That's not good. Through that, people get deceived for all kinds of things. And if it's not real, then it's like they walk out the door and there's no change. There's no light. And it's like back to who you always were. It's like a fake lifting up. As soon as you walk out of there, just back to default, whatever Adam is, whatever someone is by default. There's just no reality in religion doing that kind of work. So then there's like a need to go back, which creates the image of the true, which is going back to the Creator. But instead they go back to something else, and it's like that becomes the replacement. But if someone seeks the Creator, then he will give the real things, the real change, bit by bit, little by little, building the house, brick by brick. But not all of it at once. some of the forgiveness that has to be done makes me want to sometimes bang my head on the wall. It has to be done. It's got to get better than what it is right now, that's for sure. And then tomorrow, it needs to be better than what it is tomorrow. The next day, it needs to be better than what it is then. It can't be stagnant. See, there's no reality to that, because then that's to say I'm perfect, and that's for someone else to say it, that they're literally perfect, they're done, made it. So can't do that in the heart. But if we acknowledge we're not done, then he'll keep us going. If we lie and then say we're done, we're perfect, then someone will be done when they're not. And that's like believing your own lie. Someone will believe their own lie. Nobody's done until the end. That's the truth. Not a pretty picture. Nobody's done till the end, and Messiah is the example, all the way to the end of someone's life. That's the for sure end. Which is the beginning. For those that believe, those that don't believe don't have that hope. It's just the end, forever. Created the entire creation, all the laws, all the power. It doesn't seem so stupid then to believe it's not stupid. It's just coming from the world's viewpoint and beliefs, to believe that he can make people alive again from the dead, resurrection. I wonder which one takes more power, to resurrect one person or create the heavens and earth. But I guess if you count billions of people, that is quite a bit. But nevertheless, why does that sun, moon, and stars keep on working and never fails? People are looking up at literal perfection. Proof means nothing. Ends up worshiping it instead of the creator, trusting in it, creating all kinds of weird things out of it, signs, zodiacs, whatever someone's got going on. When something is consistent and perfect, then it's predictable. So then people that study the heavens, they can like predict certain things, like the star's going to be over this spot. That's because it's perfect. They wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't, because they can count on it. Once you learn the pattern, you can count on it. But that's like spiritually, there's patterns. You can count on it repeating. And if we sin, you can count on it. That all the things that come from missing the mark, doing some kind of evil, it'll come full circle. The judgments will be perfect and consistent because the Creator is that. But if we do good, we can count on it that good will be done, or good will come. We'll give good for it. Whatever someone reaps, whatever someone sows, that's what they reap. Not to faint, we reap. Not to faint for sowing good, so that someone makes it to start receiving some good for what they did. There's a surface meaning to the parables and an esoteric meaning, not apostles, not opposites. So, okay, you're assuming I said that they are opposites. Didn't claim anyone did it personally. I don't believe anyone has the power to do that. I'm talking about YouTube or AI, not any individual. The delusion sits here on this channel and not only this one. Many words to say little, many words, but profitable to none, and doom laden. I sure hope those words aren't perfectly you yourself. But no, I can't say that in truth because I know it is. That is you, because you support a bunch of evil and racist. Evil calling the white man wicked, ready to be sent off to condemnation forever. Doom laden. There's the word doom laden. It's you who pronounce doom on all of creation that doesn't do what you say and tell people to do. But there's no amount of words to prove anything to someone that does that. There's nothing that can be said to you. Because to those that hate the Creator, what they hear is a delusion in their mind. That's how it has to be. There's nothing that can be done. If you don't believe, you'll never see. If someone doesn't repent, they'll never see the truth. The language, whatever you think you're hearing, it's going to be called a delusion from your perspective, from what you think you see and what you think it means. Have you ever read that not a single time the Pharisees understood a single word Messiah ever told him at any time? But you probably don't believe that either, do you? You don't kill someone that you fully understand, do you? Or is it the devil's kingdoms that kills people for understanding? There's no foundation. No matter what I touch, it's going to be stupid to me because there's no consistency in anything anyone does that's of the enemy, because the works are literally confusion, nonstop evil, hypocrisy, and confusion constantly. There's no foundation. A foundation is when you go to it, you can expect the same thing every single time and build off of it, and it doesn't move. When water is a foundation, it's different depending on the time. 5 seconds later, 5 minutes later, that same thing is different. So then where do you even begin? Where do you begin? It's like trying to find a certain spot on the ocean, on the surface, but the surface, it's always moving. Where do you begin? It's going to change every second. But nobody answered. That person didn't answer. There was no answer to those comments, and now they're deleted. Somebody deleted them. I don't know who deleted them. YouTube, AI, I don't know. But nothing was answered to. Just more hate, unforgiveness, blaming the white man for people's problems. But I don't think I'm going to speak on that right now, much more than that, about all of that. I've spoken a lot about it in the past throughout the videos on people that do this. Mankind is doom laden because of what he does from his heart. Someone can be smiling, walking down the street smiling, and they're in destruction, and it's not what it looks like. But someone were to look at Messiah, though, they would say he's wicked because of the image they see. Because Messiah is not going around fake smiling all the time to try to get people to believe a certain image for Messiah, because that's deception, that's deceiving neighbor. And then there's a reason we read to weep and howl like wolves, because all that parting and laughing and smiling is not real. It's covering something that is real within. So just a little backwards, maybe, just a little bit backwards in all things. And yet no one can make a judgment by what something looks like automatically, because that's judging by appearance. Not supposed to do that ever. Something could be true because it looks like that and it is that. Something could look like that and it's not that. It depends. It has to be discerned. There's no automatic, because that's judging by appearance. It's just judging what something looks like on the outside, what it sounds like to someone's mind, what they think they see, what they're looking at literally for a picture, an image. Where do you even start? Is it as if we're like confused what the Creator has done up to this point? As if we haven't seen a bunch of things and proofs and even miracles, a bunch of spiritual, real miracles, and a lot of things He's given, as if we're confused about that. But I know that someone can't see that on the other side, so it's hard to know where to even begin. But I think I'm going to end it here, though. Seek the truth. Peace, take care. Seek truth from above.